What's good, Eagles fans? Y'all are tuned into another episode of Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your humble host, Tony Shields II, and this week we have the Baltimore Ravens coming to Philly. And we all know what our season is looking like, and it's not looking the best. It's not looking too bright. And if I'm being honest with myself, this game don't seem like the most optimistic game to be optimistic about. You know, if that sentence even makes sense. Philly hasn't really put themselves in too many positions to succeed. Time and time again, it's been us pretty much doing the most damage to ourselves. As it pertains to that Steelers game last week, we put ourselves behind the 8-ball, and at first we came out, going tit for tat, and then the turnover, the interception to Zach Ertz, that kind of put us again behind the 8-ball, and it kind of put us in a position that we really didn't need to be in at the moment. And Carson Wentz tried to stage a comeback going against the Steelers, and it really didn't work out like we intended, and we lost the game. And the only bright spot from that game was Travis Fulgham, and he balled out. And I really hope that they keep him in line with the game plan this week against the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens is not a team to be reckoned with, in my opinion. To be quite honest with you, they are one of the most dominant teams in the NFL and have been for the past few years. But this is a game, like all our other games, it's winnable. It's winnable. But let's just be frank. The Ravens do damn near everything better than us. Besides technically passing the ball, because we average more passing yards per game than them. But other than that, they have the number one rushing attack. They have one of the top defenses. You got to worry about Lamar Jackson taking off at any given point in time. And it's spooky. It's spooky. It's I'll be honest, these linebackers, this is going to be one of the worst games to visually watch when it comes to the linebackers as a group. And mainly Nathan Jerry. TJ Edwards is coming along. Singleton is coming along, but Nathan Jerry is the biggest liability when it comes to the linebackers, and to make it even worse, he plays middle linebacker, and that's the most important linebacker position, and he continuously puts the Eagles defense in compromising positions. We need Darius Slay to bounce back from having that rough game last week. We need him to shut down Marcus Brown, and we just need the Eagles to win this game, period. We don't need any turnovers. Carson Wentz, I know both those turnovers last week weren't necessarily your fault. The first one being that Zach Ertz got chipped, or I guess picked off, and he should have, a flag should have been thrown, or Zach Ertz should have been a little bit more, intentional with the route. I don't know. But that interception really wasn't Wentz's fault. That was a timing thing. And then the second one was him just trying to play heroics and try to get us back into that game. And you really can't put both the turnovers on him, but at the end of the day, he threw the ball, so it is what it is. 2 interceptions, and he already has superseded his interception count from last season. So again, the Eagles aren't really in a position to really mess up anymore at this point in the season. The Cowboys did win their last game, but they lost Dak Prescott. Unfortunately, that injury was tragic. But the Eagles are in a position to still win the division, sadly enough. The division is trash. And if we're going to have any slight chance of coming back in this division, the Eagles have to step their weight up, for lack of better terms. The Eagles have to really tighten up all across the board. The defense, Jim Schwartz, let us down tremendously against the Steelers. Tremendously. It was almost like it was non-existent. D-line and linebackers, this is going to be so important for y'all to contain Lamar Jackson. This is going to be so important, and we cannot stress this enough. If this game gets out of hand early, especially with the running game, because like I said, the Ravens have the top running game in the league. If we allow this game to get out of hand, it's over. The moment their rushing game is going, and the next thing you know, they're going to get us on a bunch of play actions. And that's what that team really is predicated off of when it comes to Lamar Jackson throwing the ball. Play actions, trickery. They run a lot of things in the pistol, gadget plays, options. And their goal is to get Lamar Jackson in the best position to succeed, and that's him running, maybe throwing on a run. Lately, Lamar Jackson has been throwing more. And lately, he hasn't been able to really get off on running that ball. And I think he's nursing a knee injury. So the Eagles need to take advantage of Lamar Jackson's quote-unquote limitations. Doug, another game where you have to play call out of your mind. Carson Wentz, another game where you have to play call out of your mind. The only upside of this game is we're going to have fans, and that is a double-edged sword, because if we're playing terribly, the fans will let them know it. The fans will let them know it. Miles Sanders has to show out this week. Besides that 74-yard run last week, he really didn't do much. So he needs to be a lot more. Intentful and a lot more consistent when it comes to running the ball. The Eagles really couldn't get the running game off the ground. Besides that big, gut that we took to the Steelers. So running game needs to step their weight up. Right now, Miles Sanders is averaging 5 yards a carry, so that's good. We need to get Travis Fulgham involved, and I think Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson are going to be available this week. So hopefully those guys don't hold us back. My fear is that the Eagles are going to stop what momentum they have when it comes to developing these young guys, just to get those old guys back into the flow, and just to, I guess, establish some value for those guys in case they may want to trade them. I don't know, but I don't want the Eagles to get so hell-bent on trying to ingratiate Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson back into the game plan if it's going to hurt them ultimately. Having Deshaun Jackson back, yes, it helps, but they haven't been using him the way he should, so what difference does it make? And then Alshon Jeffrey, who knows if he's going to be any resemblance of what we know him to be as a talent. I'll be honest, when it comes to cap space, I don't want those guys anymore. But at this point, we have nothing to lose. I think we need to really go all in on our young guys and nurture them and look to try to move those guys at the trade deadline. Maybe Ertz, maybe Jackson, maybe Alshon, if you're able to get him some reps and show he has some value. I don't know. But the Eagles have a very tough matchup this week against the Baltimore Ravens in Philly. And it's I don't know. It's exhausting watching this team every week. It's exhausting being so close and then being let down. It's just exhausting, period. This season is a wash for the most part. The only thing we had to take from it really is, nurturing the young talent, trying to get Wentz out of his head, and, just figure out this defense, figure out who the Eagles are, figure out our identity, because I don't know who this team is. I don't think they know who they themselves are. It seems like nothing can really go right, and if I'm being fair to them, we're seeing the passing game come along because Wentz established a relationship with Travis Fulgham. But we need to really nurture that. We know for a fact Wentz can do it if he has a guy that can get the ball, period. That's what that game showed. The game against the Steelers showed that if he has a guy that is willing to go up and get the ball, a number one type of guy, I'm not saying that Travis Fulgham is a bona fide number one because he still has a lot to prove, but he showed that he's a legit at least number two. If he has at least some sort of competence at the wide receiver position, then Wentz can thrive at his position. It's just that simple. But you guys were tuned in to Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your humble host, Tony Shields II. Look, you guys, this week it's going to be another tough one. I don't really have too many uplifting things to say, but fly Eagles fly, one love, any given Sunday.